All right, so we've made it to primary chords. Now, you've already learned your fantastic 4 chords, your major, your minor, your diminished, your augmented. Then we call them the Captain Planet, like earth, fire, water, wind, right? And those are like your words in language, right? But words combine together to make sentences, and then sentences create conversation and literature, right? So that's what we're doing. Music is a language here. You got your notes down, that's like your letters. You got your chords now, your basic ones, that's like your small words. And now we want to prepare and transition you into chord progressions. And in order to do that, we gotta kind of show you how chords work and what their roles are. So some chords are what we call primary in the key, and some chords are what we call secondary. Now, these aren't identities that stick with these chords, because every chord's got a different role. I'm a father in some situations. I'm a son in other situations. I'm an uncle. I'm a nephew. I'm this guy here, that guy there. But you get the idea. So how do primary chords work, and why are they so important, and how did they come about?
Well, if you look at the key of C major, let's look at it. C is the 1, D is the 2, E is the 3, F is the 4, G is the 5, A is the 6, and B is the 7, and we're back at the 1.
Right.
So primary chords are built off of the 1, the 4, and the 5. And that means that these tones, you're gonna find yourself playing major chords. So if I just take, the scale and I start with the C major chord, right? This will be considered the 1 chord because we're starting off on the 1, right? So if I take this chord and scoot it over, this is the 2 chord.
And we're gonna cover that in the next lesson.
Yeah. And this is considered minor. This is the 3 chord. This is minor. When we get to the 4, you're gonna notice that the 4 just in its natural harmonic state is gonna be major. And then when you scoot the chord over again, just going right up the scale, this is the 5 chord. You're gonna notice that the 5 is major. And I'm gonna stop there because everything else is not major.
And diminished,
Yeah. So the 1, the 4, and the 5, when you actually take the scale and create harmony by just scooting the 1 chord over, right up the scale, not skipping any notes, you're gonna find that the 1 and the 4 and the 5 are naturally gonna be major chords.
Right. And whoever did it, I don't know what their name was, but they noticed harmony. They noticed these notes and they were like, what if I took every other finger of the scale? Now, really, there's a reason behind that, because those create thirds. Whenever you take every other finger, wasn't that Rugrats or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was thirds, right? So, and they said, why don't we keep going, right? So, and basically what JP said is when you're on the 1, the 4, and the 5, you get major. And also, that seems to be the skeleton of the key. Like everything is either coming home to the 1, going to the store to the 4, or about to come home on the 5. It seems like those are the functions. And then all the other chords just are like supporting cast members. Like, okay, instead of going straight to the store, let's go to the gas station first. But really it's just movement. And how you know you're in a particular key is because everything wants to move to that key. Like how you know you're at the end of the day, because you want to go home. You ever felt like that? Like, I just want to lay in my bed. I just want to go home, right? That's what music wants to do. So if you understand that as an ear musician, that's automatically going to be the key you're in. It's the feeling of going home. Now the 4, what's that going to feel like? That's like, I want to go to the gym. I want to get out. It's Saturday. Thank God it's Friday, right? And what does the 5 feel like?
The 5 is feeling like, okay.
JB had a good time.
The 5, I don't know.
It wants to come home.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what? Yeah,
the 5 is like long evening. Okay, let's prepare for home. And you do feel that. So that's the primary chords of any key. So on the quiz, 1, 4, and 5 are primary. You don't need to know anything else right now but that. So like, let's take this to another key, like E flat.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna actually go to the board on this so we can actually see it from another perspective.
We believe in different modalities. So we don't only want to show you one way, we want to give it to you multiple ways.
All right.
So Professor?
So, here what we have is the E flat major scale. And as you can see, E flat is the 1, F is the 2, G is the 3, A flat is the 4, B flat is the 5, C is the 6, D is the 7, and the 1 is E flat. So just like the key of C major, what's going to happen is you're going to find that the 1 is going to be your major chord, which is built off of the 1, the 3, and the 5, pretty much every other note of the E flat major scale. So once you take this and scoot it over, what you're going to have is the 4 is going to be major and the 5 is going to be major. And that's why I have here the primary chords in the key of E flat major are the 1, the 4, and the 5. Now, it's probably not as easy to see as being on the piano because you can't see the actual keys, but this is the same concept. If you scoot the 1, the 3, and the 5 over, then you have the 2, the 4, and the 6. That's going to be the 2 chord. It's every other note of the scale. And then when you get to the 3, it's every other note of the scale. So you got G, B, and D. Wait, no.
Yeah, G, B flat, and D.
Oh, G, B flat. I'm sorry. G, B flat, and D. I was looking at that like, what? And then when we get to the 4, we have A flat, C, and E flat.
Which is a major chord.
Which is a major chord. And then I'm going to stop here because once you get to B flat, it's hard to see. You got the 5, the 7.
But if you just write another F on the end.
Yeah, if you write another F.
And just keep going on the scale.
Yeah. So then we have the
B
5,
flat,
the 7, and then the 2, which is basically the B flat major chord, if you look at the scale from that perspective. So it's the same exact concept, but just in a different key, and it's just another way to look at it. So the primary chords in the key of E flat are the same exact thing in the key of C. It's the 1, it's the 4, and the 5, same thing.
Mm-hmm. And this is when we get into the relativity of music, meaning you got 12 different planets, 12 different keys, but they all do the same thing. It's kind of like coming to LA and saying, okay, where's the arena in LA? Because I know LA is going to have an arena.
A couple of them.
It's going to have a convention center.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to have a city council building, whatever.
Right.
I go to New York, and I'm looking for those same elements, right? I just know those elements are going to be in that city.
Right.
Same thing. You go to the key of C, it's going to have its primary chords. You go to the key of F, it's going to have its primary chords. You go to the key of E flat, it's going to have its primary chords.
Right.
And pretty much when you understand that, you're going to be a versatile musician that can play in all 12 keys, second notice, just like Kobe. Kobe was able to speak Spanish. He was able to speak Italian. That versatile person. Same thing on the piano.
And the primary chords, they are very important because when it comes down to playing songs, you're going to notice that a lot of songs use the primary chord. So you'll see that once we get more into chord progressions and things like that. So hope you got a lot out of this lesson. We'll see you on the next one.